It's time for the final part in this trilogy of taste testing mainstream bitters from across the UK. Bring on the beers. As always, the missus has poured and blinded the beers from me. They're sitting just across the table from me right now, and I'm going to have a nose of them, a taste of them, then I'm going to rank them and attempt to guess what beer I think it might be. Right, without further ado, let's get on. Starting with A, it's got a tight head on the top with very small bubbles. It's not the darkest out of the bunch, but it's also not the lightest. A very malty nose on it. Let's get in for a taste. That is very nice. I think there's hops added into this one by the taste of it. Yeah, there's a sweetness to the malt and potentially some hops in there. I'm going to say that's actually quite a good start. I'm going to put that in 4th place. For my guess, strangely, I'm going to guess that it's Courage. I just have a feeling it's quite sweet in taste. On to B, I can see that it was quite active at the beginning and the head's dropped down. It's left quite a bit of foam around the top, not lacing. Nose-wise, there's not as much nose on this one as there was on A. It is malty though, but it's, I'd say there was a bit of sweetness in A's nose. Yeah, quite a bit of roasted malts in there it seems, and there is a bitterness but very light. I think this is Courage now. Ooh, right. I don't think this is as high in scoring. I'm going to give it 7th. I think that may be Courage. It just rings a bell in the flavour for me. But with that being Courage, what is quite sweet? I'm not sure. I'm going to go for Good Old Boy. No idea, really. That's totally wrong, probably. On to C. Its head seems to have dissipated quite a lot. It's just a thin amount on top. It's darker than both A and B, but really not anything on the nose. Wow. Taste? Oh, quite good on taste. Yeah. A nice amount of bittering to that. For the moment, I'm putting that in 5th place. Guess wise, what do I think's got a lot of, yeah, guess wise, I'm gonna go for Double Dragon. I think that is quite a malty one from my memory. D, we have, again, a nice head on this, quite tight. It has a little bit of foam on the side. I think some of these may have been quite active. Colour-wise, it's very similar to C that we just had. Again, it's not as much on the nose. There's a a light malt nose to it. Taste-wise, no, not a fan of that. Not a fan of that one at all. There's something just off about it. And I can't put my finger on that I'm not liking. He says as he goes back for more. No. That's going in 9th place for the moment. But as it goes into 9th, I wonder what it is. Go out on a limb here, and I'm going to say that may be Lancaster Bomber. No judgment. E here looks to be the darkest out of the bunch. It's still got a small little head just sitting on top. It's got a light nose to it, more than I would say both C and D. Taste-wise, oh, it's got more flavour to it, packs a punch there. That's very nice, I do like that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to actually move my rating for A up the scale. I'm going to move A up to 3rd place. And that means I'm going to put E into 4th place. With E in 4th place, I'm going to take a guess that it may be Ubu. F seems to have maintained its one finger head very well on there. Nose-wise? Yep, okay, getting a different nose than the others on this. It is malt, but there's a bit of a yeast nose on it as well. Different style malt used on that, I'm guessing. Taste-wise? To be fair, it's quite weak in flavour. There's a slight malt hit at the beginning, then nothing afterwards. That's quite disappointing. Yeah. I think currently it's still better than what I've got in 9th, so I'm going to put F into 8th. Strangely, as a guess, I'm going to say that it may be Wherry. On to G, which I believe is one of the lighter ones that I've got on here. Definitely lighter looking. Has a more of a lager colour to it with that lightness, or a golden ale. The head has retained on this side, so there is definitely still a head. Nose-wise? Yep, there is the malt nose coming through, definitely on that. Let's get in for the taste. It has a light malt sweetness to it at the end. There is a slight sweetness to it, but it does feel very light as well. The flavour is decent. I do enjoy it. It just feels a bit weaker. For that reason, it is going to slot into 6th place there. And as a guess, I'm actually going to chuck up that it might be Theakston's, just because of its lighter colour. And this is a 3.8% ABV. All right, another one where there is a very, very little bit of head remaining on the actual beer. This is, again, we're going dark. This may be one of the darkest ones on here. Nose-wise, I think I'm getting a little hop nose coming off it. Yeah, hop nose, bit of sweet malts. Let's get in. Oh, that's quite good. Ooh, that's very nice. Right, this is going to lead to obviously some changing at the top here, moving things round. I'm going to move 2 and 3 up. And I'm going to put this one into 4th place. Strangely, I think that is actually Good Old Boy now. So I'm going to take that from A and put it onto Good Old Boy. And that leaves me with A open. And now A has been switched yet again. For the moment, I'm going to put it as, it's either, I'm going to put it as Otter, but it all comes down to what these two taste like. I've still got two left, and I'm hoping I can identify one of them based off their usual traits, and then hopefully narrow down a bit afterwards. Right, let's go on to I. I is very, very light. So this is the same sort of colour as what I said was the Feakston. This is a very golden ale, sort of lagery colour. Again, the head has not lasted on this one. The nose, there's not much to it, unfortunately. There's a bit of sweet malt nose on it. Taste-wise, there's nice carbonation. There is a sweet malt flavour. But it feels like it's lacking. For that reason, I'm going to be moving number 9 across, number 8 across, and I'm going to slot H into, no, this is I actually, sorry, I'm going to slot I into 8th place, and I'm going to guess that I is Butty back. No, actually, with its light colour, which is lighter? Oh no, actually. For the moment, I'm just going to guess that this may be St. Peter's, although it depends how this one smells or tastes, because I think St. Peter's have a particular taste to them. So what I'm left with now is J and potentially Buttybuck. Let's see. Its head has gone up and then gone down, but there is still a head on it. It's darker than the previous two that we've had, which I've said were quite lagery. This isn't the darkest though on the bitter scale. Fairly decent nose, and funnily enough, I think this may be St. Peter's based off its nose actually. Oh dear. All right, let's go in and taste. I think that this is St. Peter's. Yeah, I think that's the St. Peter's taste. For that reason, I'm going to put Buttybuck against 8, although I don't think that is Buttybuck now. And St. Peter's, I'm actually going to have to move everything down. I'm probably going to put this in about 7th place for the moment. That is the current lineup that I've attributed to the beers on my first taste. I've actually run through and quickly done a retaste of all the beers down from 10 to 1, which you're seeing sped up in the footage here. My outcomes from that, I still think that D is bottom. I, however, am going to be changing round I and J. I still think that J is St. Peter's. I don't think that I is Buttybuck, but I'm not sure what else to really put there at the moment. Otherwise, I'm very happy with 1 to 6 on here. It's very, very tight actually on the top 4 to decide between them. They are so very, very close in, not flavour, but how nice they are to drink. Probably the tightest or closest that I've found amongst bitters at the moment. The top 6 in general are good, but the top 4 are very, very tight and close. Looking down, I think I'm just going to stick with my choices again, because I've given it my best shot at guessing based off flavours. I think I've given, yeah, maybe 2 of them are based on educated memory guesses about how their beer tastes flavour-wise, and the other ones have just been, I think, logical attempts at that stage. Right, it's time for the reveal. Here we are with the final rankings. I'm now going to reveal the answers to find out how I've done with regards to guessing correctly the brewer, but also I'm very interested in finding out what were those top 6 beers, and particularly those top 4. In 10th place, I've said D here is Lancaster Bomber. when in fact D is Double Dragon. Oh wow. Okay, so Double Dragon, I don't think much of that. In 9th place, I've said F is Wary. And F is actually, it's Wary. Oh wow, so I've got one correct. I'm happy, always relieved when I get my first one correct. Perfect. In 8th place, I was very insistent that J here was St. Peter's because it had its particular taste. J is, it's St. Peter's Organic Best Bitter. Oh, wow. Okay, so 2 out of 3 for me. That's going well. That's going well. In 7th place, I've said that I is Butty Buck. Well, I didn't say. I think it was ended up falling that way because I had 2 left and I gave J to St. Peter's. So it just fell that way by default and I didn't change anything at that stage. Well, I is actually Butty Buck. Oh my God. I can't believe it. Oh my God. So I've got 3 out of 4 right. That is a turn up for the book at the moment. That one is like default by a sense, isn't it? Because it was just left at the end. I very nearly put Butty Buck as E, I think. I was trying to think what it could be. Yeah, surprised it's down here, particularly as it now means that something like Lancaster Bomber and Directors is ahead of it. I'm now interested to see which one's Lancaster Bomber, but also I'm on a bloody streak here. I'm happy with this. Right, we're moving on to 6th place. So 6th place, I've said B is Courage Directors. Now that's one of the ones I was confident about, along with St. Peter's. Although I did say A was Directors because of its sweetness. But I came to this one on the second tasting because it's something about it. I felt it was Courage Directors. All right. So 6th place B is, it's only bloody Courage, isn't it? Oh my God. So I've got 4 out of 5. Wow. Okay. I'm on a roll at this stage. I'm going towards my record. Middle of the pack for it. It's actually a decent ale where I used to live. The pub used to have it on cast there as a standard for them. That's why I feel when I had it, it reminded me straight away. I thought it was more sweetness, but as soon as I had that, I was like, no, that's got to be it. So the 2 that I was confident in, I've got, and I've also managed to get some of the others. Right, top 5 time. Swapping sides for the top 5. In 5th place, I've said that G could be Theakston's. I think I gave its reason of it was light lagery colour. G is actually, it's Theakston's, isn't it? Oh my God. Right, so that's 5 out of 6. I think, wow, I'm just, wow. By getting these right, it means that I can't get that one right. If that one's Lancaster Bomber, then I potentially could be on to an 8 out of 10. So that's the max I can score at this stage. I'm totally impressed by that. Now I'm going to turn around and say Theakston's Best. I think I've had it before in cask, not in can. I actually am kind of glad that I like this, unlike the Stones on the previous episode, because I had to buy this in a 4-pack, so I got 3 more cans of it. And at a 3.8% ABV bitter, it is the lowest out of this selection. It definitely was, as I said, lighter in colour, but yeah, it was enjoyable. And as I said, anything in this top 6, I definitely would be drinking again. Which moves us on to C. For me to maintain my potential max score of 8, C here needs to be Lancaster Bomber. We know it's not Double Dragon because Double Dragon is down in number 10th place. C is good old boy, Drat. Right, I'm on to a max of 7 out of 10 now. If I get one more, I think that is my best score. I think I've scored 5 max before, maybe 6. So, yep, good old boy. It's a good bitter. It's up here. It's just a shame it was one of the only ones where the head didn't retain as well, along with what I've put in third place as H, which I thought was good old boy. I put it in third place. It was nice. Wasn't much on the nose, I remember, but the flavour was really good. The head hasn't retained, but again, it could be glass-based at that stage. All right, so H, third place was... It was bloody Purity. Oh, H was Purity, which means that I could potentially get one more right, but it also means that Lancaster Bomber is either going to be first or second. So it means another big mainstream one. So that's produced by Marston's, could be right at the top here. Ubu, third place, again, really good. We come on to E. Okay, second place, E. If this is Lancaster Bomber, I've got 6 out of 10. I'm just double checking quickly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 6. If I get this, brilliant scoring from me. I can't believe it. I would say I'm going to go celebrate and have a pint, but I've got plenty of beer here to drink anyways. All right, second place. I've said it's E. E is Lancaster Bomber, which means that in first place, A is Otter, which was a random guess for me because originally I think I said that was Courage. But yes, A is Otter, and I have managed to get 6 out of 10. Now let's quickly get this reorganized to show the actual winning list. And there we have it, the final lineup here. From 10th place, where we've had a disappointing Double Dragon. Then we've gone through to Wherry in 9th, St. Peter's Organic Best Bitter, organic, important to note, in 8th. Then we have Butty Bark in 7th. From 6th, we have Director's Courage, which has a little sweetness to it and is very, very sessionable, very easy to drink. Then we come on to 5th place, the only one in can here, the lowest ABV. I said it was very, very light in colour. It is the lightest on here, but it has a really nice flavour to go with it. Particularly for a canned beer, it's not been impacted by it at all. Being in a can, no doubt better on cask. Then in 4th place, it's Good Old Boy. And that is a good old bitter. That is a really, really good example of bitter, especially coming in at that all-important 4%, which I think definitely makes it sessionable. 3rd place, we have Purity with Ubu. Again, really, really good. I think the ABV being 4.5, there's more body to it certainly than Good Old Boy. But the bittering levels are very, very similar, although there is a different malt base flavour to both of those. Then we come on to what, for me, is the biggest shocker, really, that Lancaster Bomber is at the top. Now, quite often I find that some of the mainstream ones sneak up to the top, and this is, well, no exception at this stage. So we have Lancaster Bomber, made by Marston's, up at the top here in 2nd. Yep, I think that it's got a lovely body. I'm just reading the back, it said award-winning. That has a lovely body to it. The sweetness of the malt blends perfectly with the bittering. It just works lovely. And then in 1st place, oh wow, we have Otter. So Otter is my 1st place choice. Yeah. Again, these are my personal preferences, and you may be able to work out again that I'm going more on the sweeter scale for some of these. These two are definitely bitter. These two are definitely sweeter. And this is probably one of the sweeter ones out of them, but I think the sweetness of the malt has been balanced perfectly again with the bitterness. So it is meeting that style of the bitter perfectly, but it's got a lovely sweetness on it. It's also 4.5%, which puts it in just above, I would say, that sort of sessionable level. It's just outside the range, but it's a lovely, lovely beer. Overall, I'm quite pleased with the outcome and the results of this taste test. The ones in the top 6 are definitely ones that I would recommend, I would have again. And if I see them, I definitely would have these in pubs if I seen them on cask. The far end, the final 4, the only, well, 2 outliers to me really. Double Dragon, but it's been a while since I had it. Maybe I didn't like it back then, I can't remember. And then Butty Bark, which I thought was better than that, but yeah, it just didn't meet up to the challenge today. I'm going to take a bit of a back foot on the bitters now though, and I'm going to do some other stuff. I will be back with some more blind taste testing soon, so do keep an eye out. Do pop out some ideas in the comments section for me to look into. I do have a list of some that I want. It's just a case of getting hold of the beers, which does involve traveling around sometimes. But until next time, take care everyone.